SLCS, Maritime Hospitality Studies. We are half an hour ahead of time. So it gives a great opportunity for our chief guest to have an interaction with mainly with the cadets and also with the faculty members. So he'll be interacting with you. Please feel free to ask whatever doubts you have. He is, as Chandrasekhar rightly said, he is a master of all trades and he was also a master of so many ships. So you can't say he was only a jack of all trades, he is a master of all trades. So you can ask him any questions that you would like to put up to him. And he also would like to get your feedback. I do not know what he has in his mind, but please feel free to interact with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Subramaniam. I am not worthy of so much praise. With all humility, I consider myself a student to learn. I always come to an institute with a begging bowl. I open this house for any kind of interaction, whatever questions you want to ask. Don't ask too many personal questions, please.
Good morning, sir. As you've been saying right now that recession is going to get over, what do you think would be the first step that would be, taking place in solving the recession?
If I get your question correctly, you are asking what will happen first in solving the recession.
Yes, sir, that's it. Beginning.
As I said, any trade is a sinusoidal curve, a sine curve. There are ups and downs, there is crest and trough. Same is with this maritime industry. If I may quote, when I joined sea in 1981 and I did my second mates in 1985, all those who were there sailing in 1985 may remember, it was a big recession. For 4 years, we did not have job. From 85 to 89, I was doing my regular, because I was only 12th past that time. So I was doing my BSc, regular college, and then MBA. But thereafter, things improved. And in that recession, what we gained was opening of foreign shipping to Indian seafarers. And we proved our mettle there. Similarly, during this recession, as ship owners were looking for cheaper options, see, they cannot cut the fuel charge, they cannot cut the lube oil charge, they cannot cut the insurance charge. Without compromising on the quality, they wanted cheaper labor. That's why we are looking to Bangladesh, Myanmar, Vietnam. But the key solution to remove the recession is trade. The ships should start trading. As you are aware, today dry bulk trade is almost stopped. We have an OPEX, that is the operating cost of the ship. Just for a ship to run, we need $5,000 per day. That includes wages, fuel, insurance, etc. And the freight being earned today is only $3,500 for a Handymax. So $1,500 per day, the ship owner is paying from his pocket. That means negative. He is not profiting but going negative. Once the trade starts, this negative part will slowly become zero and then positive. That is the key, and the recession will be over.
Thank you, sir.
Don't feel shy. Questions are never stupid. Answers are stupid. I think if passing out badge is not asking questions, I'm sure the first year badge will have many questions.
That's first years. Any questions, please?
Okay, let's have it this way. 2 questions from each batch.
Right, sir. So, as we all have heard that it is the time of the end of the recession. So, I would like to ask that is the end of the recession anywhere proportional or it is related to our placement or it can help in our placement?
Good question. It's all a very vicious circle, catch 22. Everything is related. If the ships are trading, ships are earning, obviously they'll need more people, they'll need more trainings, and hence more placement. So it's all very related. Did I answer your question?
PTO cadets, you all must be definitely having some doubts in your mind, whether what I am going to be, what is going to be my future, how I am going to overcome this problem. So whatever you have, you please feel free to ask. Otherwise, they say there are only two sets of people, and especially when you come on board as a fifth engineer, you always say, a person who knows everything, he never asks question, and other set of people, a person who does not know anything, he also will not ask any question. I don't know, you should know which group you belong to. So feel free to ask whatever you have in your mind. My question will come last to Captain Nigam.
Good morning, sir. According to the article which our principal has just read out for us, it has been put up by the end of 2025, there will be a huge demand for the seafarers on board. So, according to the situation right now in the modern technology, how will the owners try to cope with the seafarers or the technology?
Let me repeat your question. You said there's going to be big demand for seafarers by 2025.
Yes, sir.
And your question is whether it will be subverted towards technology or
Yes.
towards
When it's a technology coming into part, it's like a one-time
unmanned ships.
investment.
Yes, you are
So
right.
it's like the chance of deviation is more.
It's a very deep question. There's a very, very deep implication there. Yes, we do not deny that technology is playing a big role. We have been hearing ships, UMS, that is unmanned ships. That is nobody required in the engine room. However, as I said before when I was sharing my thoughts with you, this is an industry which is knowledge and skill based. No technology can be skilled technology. The decision has to be taken by a human being, of course, with the help of technology. Right? So, don't think that the technology will get you out of your jobs. No. So, to run a car, automatic car, also you need to know how to drive it. Isn't it?
Anything from, there he is. Please come. Please pass on the mic to him.
Good morning, sir. So myself, Ashdeep Singh from BTech first year. Sir, I would like to ask a question. So like you said, that in coming years, the trade will increase. Recession has almost gone. Sir, I would like to put a question on the Mother Earth. Like the trade will increase, the number of ships working on sea will increase. Sir, what about the consequences the ships will run, when the ships will run? We will provide equal damage to Mother Earth. Have you ever thought of this, sir?
I wish there was a prize for environment protection subject. That would have gone to you. There is a full subject both taught in deck side and the engine side, which is EP, environment protection. And I think for engineers it is in marine operations. Marine operations. I was teaching marine operations in MPS college, so I'm aware of that. In that there is a Bible book called Marpol. Right? Marpol deals with the 6 annexes. All these 6 annexes are for marine environment pollution.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And the 6th annex of Marpol, which is regulation for the prevention of air pollution by ships has been re-revised and revised so many times. And the latest one, which had SECA areas, sulfur emission control areas,
Yes,
has
sir.
now been converted into ECA areas, emission control areas, because in that ambit, there are 4 pollutants which have come now. Again, a quiz. See, this teaching thing, a teacher thing has gone into my blood, although I may be a chief guest today, but first this teaching thing comes. So my question is, what are the 4 pollutants as per MARPOL and X6? Anybody?
SOx, NOx, particulate matter, and CO2, sir.
Okay, that prompts me to put a prize to the correct answer. 500 rupees from me. Give me the correct answer.
Carbon monoxide.
Don't start Googling on your phone. You can answer without mic also. Raise your hand and answer. Discuss and answer, okay. First 2 are correct, SOx, NOx. Which is the other 2? MARPOL and X6, you people have read, right? All of you have read. Air and carbon. Okay, should I answer? Yeah? See, 500 rupees. One.
Sir, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon.
Who said that? And?
Methane from LNG vessels.
Okay, since you are of first year, I'll allow this. And you are the winner of 500 rupees. Actually, it is SOx, NOx, ozone depleting substances, which he said CFC. It's the generally it is ozone depleting substances. And the last one is volatile organic compound. Again, methane is a volatile organic compound. So, while I described this MARPOL NX6, I have partly answered your question that yes, we are aware about the environment.
Hello? Sir, few days back I was going through an article. Sir, I got to know that the people of southern India will be affected because of the sudden increase in water level. Sir, our profession is indirectly connected, linked to this pollution we are creating to Mother Earth. So any preventive measures to control it?
See, water level rising is a different ballgame. It is a different thing. It is because of carbon dioxide. Because of global warming. And the carbon dioxide is the main gas which causes global warming. Because of that, the Arctic Antarctic ice melts and the water level rises because of the global warming. It has nothing to do with the pollution as such of these 4 pollutants. This global warming is caused not just by the ship. The ships are causing the carbon dioxide emission from the ship is not so much alarming as compared to what is happening from other industries.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, yes, definitely, with all this carbon dioxide or carbon footprints, yes, it is going to get affected. But now, we are again going in for other alternative energy means. For example, solar energy, no emissions. Okay. We are going to have hybrid cars run on electricity, no emissions.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
Are there any questions from the people who are sitting right on top, Maritime Hospitality Studies? Would you like to ask any question to Captain Nigam? Anybody? Okay, if there are no other questions, I would like to ask a question to Captain Nigam. He has been, as he said, a student till now. He has been a student with Rajendra, and he had been sailing with my ex-company, Shipping Corporation of India. Then he has become a manager with the shipping company. He had been a trainer, and now today he is also employing people on behalf of ASP Ship Management. So, sir, what do you look for a person when you are employing him in your shipping company? What is the expectation of a ship owner before he employs a person on board his ship? So that this can really be a guideline for our students to prepare themselves. So when they come for a campus interview, it is not only the technological development, but it is also the attitude of a person. So what do you really look for a person before giving him a chance in your company?
Sir, your question had an answer. You said it is not just technological development but attitude. We look for the attitude. It's not necessary that we will hire all your toppers. I'll have to see during the panel interview which we conduct whether the person who has the right attitude, the right bent of mind to go and work on a ship. And you will be surprised, sir, that for last 5 years since I've been recruiting cadets in ASP, most of the people who have done well may not be having a very good academic record. They come from humble families, lower middle class families, from not very big cities, some cities of which I have not even heard names, they come from there. But with that zeal, with that enthusiasm, to prove that they are worth it, they perform and they make outstanding engineers and outstanding officers, I must say.
In this context, like Captain Nigam was saying, I also would like to quote from again Dr. Saxena. If we want to survive in such difficult situation, then we need to train more youngsters from lowest strata of society so that they get lured by the high salary package and most importantly, stay in the industry. Why I asked this question to Captain Nigam is that cadets should know that you have to have, as we said, a love for the profession and stay long in the industry. That will be a virtue by which you will be able to stay and gain useful employment. So thank you very much for your time, I think. And thank you very much. Thank all the cadets who have been putting questions and who have been very patient enough. And now I'll hand over back to our MCs.
And the cadets prize will be handed over to you directly to meet me afterwards.